An inspiring life story is the account of a moment when an extraordinary person reveals the key that unlocked the door to their success. Among the many themes explored in these narratives are triumphs over adversity and the shattering of previously established boundaries. Not only can you as an individual motivate others to chase their dreams, but you can also provide them with the means they need to keep going strong once they reach their goals.
What do I know? Who am I to judge? Trying to meet halfway, yet carrying a grudge. Assuming the street is one way, reluctant to turn right. Hence why I went left. Vision impaired, I lost sight. I turned to look, an onlooker stare. Quickly I turned back, feeling frantic and scared. Then I had presumed, oh, I'm sorry, skipped a line. Realizing things were closer, then I had presumed. We all know the result of when we assume. On this day, I was taught our destination is not far when we are willing to meet people where they are. Welcome, everyone, to the Live and Learn podcast, the show where we dive into incredible stories and journeys of individuals who live thrilling lives, who live fulfilling lives, and bring a lot to the table that encourages us to live, to be our best selves and live life to the fullest. I'm Walter Williams, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you decided to tune into the Live and Learn podcast. I have a wonderful guest who I had the opportunity and privilege to connect with through the Black Speakers Network. He is the founder, executive director, speaker, and mentor of Love No Ego, and I'm excited to learn more about him, his journey, and his business. Please welcome Freddy Jackson. Hello, Freddy. Thank you for coming on. How are you today?
I'm great. Another day, man. Another opportunity, just to be here and make what you want out of this life. So I'm grateful and thank you for having me on here to connect and sharing some stories and push our missions forward,
Yep, absolutely. Again, like I said to you ahead of the call, I've been really impressed and really, interested in learning more about what you do. I see you on LinkedIn, just sharing your message, your programs, your ideas, and your thoughts. So I thought, what better way to learn more about you than to have you on, have people learn more about you along with me. So share with us, your Love No Ego, the mission, and what led you to begin this program in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. So March 16th, which is coming up, almost 9 years ago, it'll be 9 years. Prior to that, even, I just had these moments of just realizing through my mistakes, through my own ego, through the experiences that I've had as a former college athlete, a former music artist, health and wellness coach, 17 years now, those industries, and just how society, the political climate of the country, I've never been attracted to politics, and just how everything was so ego driven. It was the ego was always out front. It's always in your face. And its whole identity is just falsity. It doesn't hold you up. It doesn't protect you like you think it's protecting you. It's actually exposing you, So I just had these moments like, man, like love is the greatest gift ever. Like this life, like what's been given us, like, what's been given us, like we get an opportunity to do this, And then I saw the ego over there. It's like, that's the one thing that's contradicting and combative, and the one thing that can keep you away from experiencing the greatest energy and everything that we were designed to do and be here on this earth, right? So I was like, we need more love, less ego. And I had a mentor at the time. I shared it with my mentor. I told him, at the time I was producing music, and I told him that I was going to do another album. I was like, I'm just going to do one more. This is it. Like, I'm just sick of the industry too. The music industry it's just nuts, And he goes, okay, what's the name of this one? He was like, just looking down at his clipboard, like, what's the name of this one? And I told him, I said, Love No Ego. And he stopped writing. He looked at me. He was like, "What you say?" I said, "Love, no ego." And he said, "Whoa, that's powerful." And he goes, "But it doesn't belong in music. It needs something bigger. And I was listening to him, and I had a history working with at-risk youth in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. I lived a lot of different places: California, Chicago, Florida, Austin, Texas. And I had all these great experiences working with youth and giving back into the community, just showing up, being present in the community. And I wrote that album anyway. I wrote it years ago. It's like 2000. I don't know. I probably started writing that thing 2010 maybe, and put it out or whatever a couple of years after that. But I knew I moved back home in 2012 to Virginia, and I knew that I was going to start a nonprofit. It was going to be called the Love No Ego Foundation. We're going to mentor youth, and we're going to give them this truth. Like they already have everything that they need to be successful. They just leave the ego out of the way. I mean, if it wasn't for conflict, the ego wouldn't even show up. Like, it has to show itself because it's nervous, it's anxious, it's scared, it's trying to protect something. It puts on this false persona. And like whatever, the creator and whatever created us, created you, created me, like, has already given us everything we need. Like,
yeah,
the knowledge is there. The intuition is so powerful. Like, it's there, but we got to learn how to listen to it. And that's what we do. The Love No Ego Foundation. We mentor youth, 9 years, almost 9 years strong, coming this 16th, which is this Sunday. Mentoring youth, just helping them develop that foundation within that's not easily shaken by the egotistical world, letting them see that giving them the courage to be themselves, and giving them tools and different practices to look more within than they do without. They take responsibility for their happiness, how they feel, and then we do motivational speaking presentations. We go in schools and churches, wherever the youth are, and just kind of positively hijack their environment, bring them all to the gym, shut them down, and just have a big old love no ego, very inspiring, and we show them this message in ways that relates to them, so they see that truth. Like, man, I do have to, in order for me to maximize life, I have to be what's me. I have to be what was given to me. No one came before you, no one's coming after you, and there's only one youth. Right. And I think that's enough excitement and enough truth to inspire you to be curious about this one. Like, how do I maximize this thing? So we're giving them that love no ego truth, man, and just wanting them to commit themselves to showing up as their best selves.
Wow, that's that's a very powerful journey story that you just shared there, that have gone through not only all of the industries you went through, but the different places you live. So I'm sure you had your fair share of all of these different experiences that you can collectively share with people, because with platforms like yours, a lot of the people can relate to the stories. Mm-hmm. So when you mentor the youth and you go to these these speaking presentations, what do you feel is, I guess, your greatest source of of story to share with them? Is it more so what happened with you in the industries, or is it something personal that happened with you that you share with them?
I think it's I love it all. I think it's a great combination of both, and me in this melting pot that I am, and my experiences, just like you have yours. And I think it's so necessary to be that transparent, to be that authentic, because you're teaching in the moment. Like you teach what you are, mm-hmm. Not necessarily what I'm saying. I want you to hear this and learn this and teach this, but you're also teaching who and what you are in every moment. and to be authentic and just to, to practice. I don't claim to be the realest one out there or anything like that. I'm just into checking the human box before I check the other boxes. Before I check this, even before I check black, white, whatever, political stuff, Democrat, Republican, before I check motivational speaker, athlete, whatever, personal trainer, before I check any of that, I check the human box, because that's what's given to me. It's like that's life, and life is beautiful. Like, what you make of it, what you do with it, can be totally something else.
Absolutely.
But what's been given to me is wonderful, and that's where I try to start, and that's where I try to stay, and it keeps me in a space of gratitude, humility, excited. It keeps me grounded, and it keeps me authentic, and it keeps me, I think, relatable.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. And I think that one of the things that really attracted me and intrigued me about your platform too is I'm someone who tries to live by humility. I never try to say that, I'm the best at anything. And, I feel as though sometimes, trying to keep myself centered and not get too high or too low, it sometimes leads to me, I think, being lower than I should. So like when things don't go my way, I don't stay even keel. Sometimes I get way too low. My wife will be a person to tell you that.
Yeah.
Because I don't, like, when I have great moments, I don't celebrate them the same way other people would, like, ready to tell the whole world, I did this, I did that. I just kind of say, I'm blessed, I'm thankful, and I work, I did what I did to get here. But so what would you say to someone who, I guess, struggles with like keeping that even ground because they've dealt with a lot of adversity, and sometimes they have a hard time celebrating their successes?
Yeah. And that's, and like you said, you don't want to go too far this way, you don't want to go too far that way, and finding a healthy balance can be challenging at times. But things that help, I feel, are, you have to have, I think it's important to have a daily practice, a daily routine. Not for your whole entire day, but there should be a significant part of your day, not necessarily significant in time, but like just this practice is like it's a time for you to turn inward, right? Like the more you turn inward, the more you find answers. The more you turn inward, the more you find the answers out there. Like you kind of, like, love tells you what to do. Like, it tells you when to be bold. It tells you when, no, I'm going to go this way. It tells you when to speak up. It tells you, like, Freddie, maybe you should just kind of be quiet for a while, and if we have the courage to listen and the courage to follow through on that, like, you start to develop this being and this presence about you that, like, can nothing really hurt you, because your trust is so much bigger than just people. Like, your trust is so much greater than, like, I have to watch this person and they might hurt me or they might try to, like, I don't really have time for that. And I'm not even interested in that. Like, my trust is so in the universe and this creative force and being human and energy. Like, if someone thinks that they can deceive me or I could fail or something, like, like, that's their problem. That's not my problem.
Right.
That's not mine. But I think a practice, like, for example, this morning, I got up extremely early this morning. I usually get up around 4 a.m. anyway. But man, I don't know, it was full moon or something last night. Like, the moon was coming through the bedroom. It looked like daylight out there. And it was like 1:31 a.m. I remember the numbers. I remember looking at the numbers. And then I was like, that's a little bit too early, So I laid on back down, tried to go to sleep. And I was like, let me just get on up. And it was like 2:13. a.m. and I just got up, man, and I started my day. Like, my day every morning consists of 5 or 6 exercises, uh, slash stretching, or maybe additional stretching. I brush my teeth, drink my water. Um, I read something inspirational. I do a little meditation. I might pray. But all of that is my time to do me. And I don't look at the phone. I don't look at anything. Probably for another, it's like 2 hours before I even get on the phone or start to do communications and emails and stuff. And then I stop about 35, 40 minutes before the sun comes up, and I go out and I watch the sunrise. And I do that like 5 to sometimes 7 days a week.
Wow.
No matter where I am.
Wow. That's impressive. That's it's funny that you mentioned all of that, because that's gonna probably come back up when we get to my last segment on the show, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So with all of what you just shared, and with your introduction, when you shared what led to you starting Love No Ego, you might have already answered this question, but what do you feel was what I like to call your boom method, or your boom, which is your biggest obstacle overcome or met? So this could be a moment, a battle, or something that you had where it really just kind of like shook you up a little bit and took you in a place mentally, emotionally, physically, that you never thought you'll see yourself, and you saw yourself overcome it. What was it, and what did you learn from it, or how did you grow from it?
Yeah, so I'm a former college athlete. I have one brother 10 years older than me, right? I'm saying that to say this, like, I grew up like very competitive. I was the younger brother, one sibling. He's 10 years older than me. Like, I never wanted anything, like, unless he let me win. He's 20, I'm 10 years old. Like, right, But as little brother, you think that's all you want to do is beat big brother. Anything. It can be basketball, it can be drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm gonna win at something. Right. And so I developed this very competitive spirit that was like Michael Jordan type, like man, I'm coming to get you, and I took that competitiveness ego and just I put it all across the board on everything, on who I dated, how many girls I dated. I put it on everything, the songs I wrote, and and I got to a point where I had a girlfriend, and she's now my wife. But I'd met her, and we were early on in our relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. And, I really liked her. I loved her. Like, I'm like, she's working on just being her authentic self, that's attractive. Like, it's nothing more, I think, as a man, and you can attest to this. Like, I think one of the most attractive things in a partner is they're comfortable in their own skin, and they're willing to be vulnerable.
Yep.
What else you want? That's growth all day long, right?
Right.
So, and I saw that, and I was like, wow, But this is like 2 years into it. And, early relationships, you butt heads and this and that. And I think, and this is me talking about myself, so I don't know how sure and this and that is, but I was still into this competitive thing. I was still in this ego space. I had been living straight out of college in California and Chicago and Florida and Austin, Texas. And I was in all these places, like living and making music and fitness and running and staying in shape. But 2 years into it, we had our problems. And as boyfriend and girlfriend, I stepped out on her, right? I found somebody else, right? And the moment, dude, like that I did it, like I knew why I did it, where it came from, from my childhood. Like I knew exactly where it came from. Like I saw my dad doing it. Like it just started like rolling.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, then I became attracted to the stuff I didn't even like him doing to my mom. And now I'm doing it, you know? So I had to tell her. So I had, because, you know, like if the God is in you, man, and the love is there, like you just, you know, you have to come clean and feel good, even if it's you by yourself, whatever. And I told her, and she was like shocked, and we went through a messy thing as boyfriend and girlfriend. But guess what, man? Like it made her more transparent, it made me more transparent, it made both of us listen, and we ended up like, I think this is the most beautiful relationship we have. And we got married, you know. So and it's for like transparency with her, and not just that relationship, but my point, I shared all of that is I realized like that ego had to go. Like I realized it had to go. And that incident came at the time where I had the idea to create Love No Ego. You know, it was all up in that time frame. And Love showed me, man, that truth. And that was one moment, an incident, as well as helping me like overall visionary, like to see like the ego's got to go. It might be challenging, it might be hard, it might be difficult because we've been practicing a certain thing for so long. I mean, you come out of the womb, it's in your face, it's on, right? But I knew from that point, like I was committed to the other side. I was committed to the love side. Like I'm going this way. Like I have to. It's so beautiful. It's so awesome. And me and the situation is going great. My relationship, my marriage is going great. We are about to celebrate 6 years of marriage and 13 years of being together. So
wow. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. That's I appreciate you sharing that story. You know, not too many people would be comfortable sharing that. And one of the things I took away from that, I had to actually write that down because you actually make like almost like got my mind going with like words of wisdom that I can share with people with my platform. But one of the things that I just took away from that story you shared is accountability is the greatest remedy to ego. When you take accountability for your actions, you know, it already removes the ego because you're owning up to your mistakes or to what led to you making a mistake. First off, you're saying that you made a mistake, but not only are you saying I made a mistake, you're also acknowledging why you made that mistake. Because it's one thing to just say, oh, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't have did it. But the next question is, why'd you do it? And you took ownership and accountability. So it definitely takes a lot of heart and a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah. And I want people to see the glory like on that side and choosing. Like I actually listened to what my intuition was telling me to do, and like the feelings lead you that way. The way you feel is going to lead you to the decision that you need to make. And I think all of us are chosen, not all of us listen though, you know.
Right. That's a big
So
point.
that moment I decided to listen, like really, like I can't now, I cannot turn it off. I can't, like it's like, you put there's a guy by the name of Richard Claxton, Dick Gregory. Familiar with him? Like he has some powerful books. You should check him out, man. The Essentials of Dick Gregory. He says this thing all the time. He says, once you put these universe glasses on, he says a little different, like the universe picks you, but I believe the universe picks everybody. Don't everybody listen and put them on. But he was like, once you put the glasses on, and there's rules that come with them, you can never take them off. And you see things how they are, not as they're supposed to be. And you can't force anybody else to win.
Wow. That's so powerful. I appreciate you sharing that with me and the audience. So sure somebody's inspired that heard that just now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're now going to transition over to the spiritual relief segment. And in this segment, I read a verse and share my thoughts on it. And you obviously have the opportunity to share your thoughts if you like.
Cool.
So with us today, talking about Freddy's Love No Ego platform, I decided to read from the book of Proverbs, and it comes from chapter 16, verses 17 through 19. And it reads, "The road of the faithful turns away from sin. He who watches his ways keeps his life. Pride comes before being destroyed, and a proud spirit comes before a fall. It is better to be poor in spirit among poor people than to divide the riches that were taken with the proud." What these verses said to me is pride is the root of destruction. It blinds us to the need for love, to care for others, to provide encouragement, and to be inspirational. And when we're rooted in pride, we lose sight of humility. And you all know humility is one of my biggest pillars. So anything that prides us away from humility, I'm definitely against. And we forget to watch out for others, because we don't seek guidance from others, and we don't realize we're harming others when we're rooted in pride. So don't let your pride destroy the souls of those who look up to you. So would you like to share any thoughts there? Any words you want to share?
Yeah, that's powerful, and it just inspires me, and I could go I could go all over the place.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
Integrity, like and I want people to understand, like I said something earlier about like what's been given us, like life. I think about that in itself is like just reality, is integrity. It's already special. It's not worldly special. It's already special. And we come out and we seek this level of specialness and attention, right? Without even realizing that we already have it. It just reminds me of people who are like, I see it so like broadly, but I can break it down as well. It's like, say a person sitting in the cubicle or sitting at the office and they're just unfulfilled. First thing they think about is vacation. I need to go on vacation. Or now meditation is a big thing. Let's go meditate and this and that. Like, do we ever ask ourselves, like, what are we trying to get back to? Like, what's the reason for vacation? It's peace, it's love. I want to have a good time. I want to enjoy myself. Like, I want to get away from so much doing, do a little bit more just being, sitting on the beach or whatever, without realizing that that's what God, your creator, like the universe, gave you in the beginning. Like it gave you all of that. Like peace started here, joy started here, love started here, life started here, trust, truth, reality, like started here. And then we went, and as we grew and we started making something else out of it, and now we need a vacation from it, right? We got to come back over here. So I want people to see that so they can say like, oh, I already have this integrity. I already have this responsibility. Like if I can just move more in purpose, more intuitively, I probably can get the most out of this life. I probably can maximize this thing.
Yeah.
So those verses, man, are just, it helps me see reality versus what we made up. It helps me see truth versus illusions. It helps me see love versus like the fear. It helps me see love instead of like the ego. It helps me see like what's real, and oftentimes, as you know, in society, we think this is real over here.
Yeah.
And it never works out.
Right.
It never works out over there.
And seeing the thing about it too, before before we transition to my last segment, which is a little bit more fun, not as deep. One thing that I will say too that I really appreciate about the work that you're doing is not only do you carry yourself in a way that is, humbling and, a way that a lot of people can admire, but you reach out to others to try, to meet them where they are, to, figure out how you can help them be the best version of themselves. Because a lot of the times what happens in this world is we get so caught up in ourselves. We get so caught up in what we have going on that we don't realize the person next to us may need us. They may need some words of encouragement. They may need some assistance with something, but we're so worried about ourselves. We're selfish with our time and our energy, but not realizing that there's someone that is dealing with something far more worse than what we can imagine or what we're dealing with. And, a platform like yours, really kind of like reminds me of that. And it's something that, again, I really appreciate. And, I support and am very, excited about the work that you're doing, and will definitely continue to keep a close sight on the work that you're doing for sure.
Yeah, that's great, man. It's no greater feeling than giving.
Yes.
Like if you think about it, and if anybody's hearing this and when they listen to this, like I want them to compare themselves and those feelings that are inside that of giving, or when you give to someone, you genuinely invest your time, something, whatever, and gift it to someone. Compare that feeling to when someone gives you something.
Right.
Yep. Like that giving goes, man, and extends for like eternity, possibly. And there's nothing that can replace that. And you made me think of something, like everything that we've ever learned, good or bad, it came from another human being. We are one. We're breathing the same air here. Like I'm over here, you over there. Freddie doesn't have his air over here. This is just my air. No, like we're breathing the same air. Like, like one. And like people don't think about this, like breathing, like the work and the healing and just the joy of just breathing. And like people don't realize it until they're not able to breathe. Then that's all they want to be able to do is breathe.
Right.
This constant exchange with the universe. I think we should just pay a little bit more attention to it, because this body, this intuition, this brain, this being, this togetherness is like a walking miracle. It can heal itself. It's so beautiful, man. Like I'm just came off a fast, like and I fast often. Sometimes I fast like 24 hours every other day.
Wow. I might start doing that.
I have 3 or 4 meals in a week.
Oh wow.
Like a Monday through Friday. Like yesterday, I stopped eating at I think it was 5 p.m. 6, and I went all night, of course, and I just ate around 1:30. I had an apple, and I have like a little falafel wrap I'm going to get to. But my whole point is just like paying attention to what's going on here, and love will give you all the answers, man. It will just pour out of you and extend.
Well, I definitely appreciate, all of the insight that you're sharing with not only me, but the listeners. So it's funny that you mentioned the whole fasting thing, because that brings me to my last segment, which when I'm doing the podcast by myself, I call it In My Opinion. But since I have a guest today, we won't call it In Our Opinion. So in your opinion, what are the 3 toughest things to stay disciplined with? I wrote down my 3, but I want to hear your 3 first. What are the 3 toughest things for you to stay disciplined with?
Food can be challenging because it's always in your face. Like, you know, you go to the store. I mean, we got a small produce section, that stuff that came from the earth, and then we got 30 aisles of all the stuff we made. Right? Like, think about it. You know, I'm organic, I'm a natural creature. I probably should put natural things in here.
Right.
That's not too difficult to figure out. Or should I go get this canned product or something that you look at the expiration date, it expires in 4 years? What food, you know, lasts 4 years? You know?
Oh man, that was funny.
So we gotta start just paying attention to that. But I would say food can be a challenge, because it's always in your face, and the moment you come out of the womb, depending on your family and their behavior and what they know, I mean, they're doing the best they can, you know. You know, I'm from Buckingham County. Like, we ate chicken 3 times a week, and it's red meat everywhere, like, you know. And I haven't eaten any of that in like 10, 15, some of it 20 years.
Wow.
You know, so that's still a challenge. I still like my sweets. I want a cinnamon roll every once in a while, like, you know.
Yeah. I gave up sweets for Lent, and it's a struggle.
Yeah, I would say that, and I still get temptations to I support. I love love. I love love, you know. Since I'm in this nonprofit world, and there's so much like I don't want to call it competition, but just going for grants and this and that and that and that. You know, every once in a while, I feel myself like, ooh, man, why couldn't we get that grant? Like, you know what we're doing or trying to do over here? You just gave these folks $50,000 and they sit in cubicles, you know? And but you know, that's that competitiveness in me. But then you know, I'm so much better at it, and you know, I kind of, you know, everybody's doing their lane, everybody's maximizing their lane, and that's the way I look at it. But I think the competitiveness in me, I have fun with it now. The food, you know, I have a really good life, man. I really do. So I mean, I wake up, I do what I want, you know, what I love to do 95, 98% of the time, you know. It's a good life. I'm making an impact. I have purpose. I'm happy. I'm healthy. My parents, my family, my folks are still here with me. You know, Dad's birthday is St. Patty's Day on Monday. He'll be 76. You know, like I still have goodness and things, so many things to be grateful for. And I try to focus on them rather than what I don't have, you know.
Right. Well, I definitely appreciate that. Your list is a lot more deeper than mine. I do have the healthy eating on there because that is a struggle for me. And when you went at the beginning of the when you was talking about your routine, and I thought about this question, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a tough one to get him to give me an answer to. When you told me about your exercise and your meditating, I was like, ugh. But for me, I had healthy eating, exercising, and prayer. Those are, you know, and mainly the healthy eating and exercising, because I'm not one who can like just say, oh, I'm going, you know, run a lap around my neighborhood or walk around the neighborhood. I usually like to, when I exercise, I usually like to do competitive activities like play basketball. You know, I don't do the football thing. That's way too much. But like, you know, playing basketball is usually my form of exercise, and I play every Sunday when I get the chance to, but sometimes that's few and far between. So staying disciplined and trying to find another activity, another physical activity that keeps my body conditioned and in shape is probably the biggest one for me, that and healthy eating. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what, I can share a tip with you. What I do sometimes when I like struggle to, like, I want to work out, but man, I don't want to run. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to mess with weights. I set a timer on my phone, right? For like 1 minute intervals, like go for 1 minute and pause for 30 seconds. And then I'll set that at say 15 times. So that's 15 minutes of 1 minute something exercises, 30-second breaks in between. And I have this SIT, simple interval timer, on my phone. It lets you set up the set up the sets. What's your break time? And then you say how many sets or sets you're going to do. So sometimes I do 30. I know that's 30 minutes. And I got 30 seconds breaks between each minute. And dude, I'll do 5 because I get bored. I would do 5 reps of whatever I can think of. Jumping jacks. That minute goes, boop. I do 5 jumping jacks. Boom. Ooh, 5 push-ups. Ooh, 5 squats. Ooh, 5 sit-ups. Ooh, 5 body twists. Boom. 5 jumps. Boom. And timer goes up. 30-second break. I'm thinking of the next 5 I'm gonna do. Or the next exercises I'm gonna do for 5 reps. And I do that for 30 minutes. I look like a crazy dude that's doing all types of exercises. But dude, by the time I'm like 4 minutes into it, I'm sweating, I'm drenched. I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. You know, you get that sweat going. You're like, that's what I'm talking. I can feel good about this later on. Like I did my workout. Yeah, you get bored, think of something, just put it on there and just pull from your archive of exercises and do something.
Okay.
You know,
I try to keep that in mind because I definitely do want to be, have my body more active.
Yeah.
Because, it's fun playing basketball and I always look to that. But again, it doesn't, it's not something that I'm always able to do. It's like, sometimes I'm able to do it every Sunday. But, we play for about 2 hours. So,
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So, but when there are those Sundays where I'm not able to make it, then I need to find something to, to offset that when I can't do it. So
yeah,
I definitely appreciate that. I'll look into and you said it's an app. It's called
simple interval timer, SIT, simple interval, INTERVAL.
Okay.
And
okay.
Yeah, man. And another thing I found very helpful, like every couple of months, every once a quarter, maybe even more frequent than that, I take a look at what I'm doing, like just doing, like where's my time going? And usually there's something in my field or things that I'm doing that I probably could remove. Like, why am I still doing that? That's not even serving me. And I start like ripping layers off. And next thing I know, I got some space and some time to be and to feel. I feel like working out more. Like so I get a little smarter, a little wiser versus like, trying to do so much. But yeah, like I started doing that years ago. And dude, I don't have a TV. I don't have I don't have a TV nowhere in my house, nowhere. Probably about a decade now. Like I haven't watched, and I watched some things. You can't get away from it, of course, but because it's everywhere. But I visit my parents, they have the TV on, I watch something. But in my home and our home, like our TV's been gone almost a decade.
Oh wow.
And we lay out on the floor, we sit, we have conversations, we talk more, we read books, we got plants, we got all the plants and we give them all names, we're having a good time. The music is on, and it's all like just feeding the vibe and the energy of you and your spirit. And then you realize how influential and negative almost, like, and how TV and messages and advertising and influence is constantly in your face trying to persuade you and take you really on this journey, like away from yourself to something else. Very few commercials have you look this way.
Sure.
You might see a family-oriented Subaru commercial every once in a while, but everything else is, you need this to be cute, you need this to fit in, you need to drink this beer with this, you need to have this food. Oh, look at this pizza and this cheese. Look at this. Look at you don't see nothing about red peppers and hummus and go.
Man, I didn't expect to laugh this much in this conversation.
But you start to see all the noise and the foolishness. Like,
Oh, you're right though.
why would I
agree.
do all of that? Like, to just, it's detrimental to my health and my body. Like, and why would they even, that's when it gets a little bit deeper, it gets a little bit more political, I guess. Like, why would anybody even continuously push messages like that to have kids obese before they even get out of fourth grade, fifth grade? Don't get me on school lunches and stuff.
Oh Lord.
What that looks like. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll be reaching out to you for another episode for that one.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on and guesting on the Live and Learn podcast. Is there anything that you want to share with the listeners about how to get in touch with you if they want to learn more about the Love No Ego platform and your business?
Yeah, check out the website, lovenoego.org, spelled just how it sounds, LOVENOEGO.org. Check out our mission, check out our events. We are always seeking more volunteers, board members, trying to extend the team, or mentors. Also check out Mr. MRLOVENOEGO, Mr. Love No Ego. That is me, the speaker. Some kids in the school gave me that name a few years ago, and I've been riding it ever since. And we were doing a workshop there. I'm getting off subject a little bit, but we were doing a workshop there, and an 8-week workshop, and it was like week 2. And I parked the car. I was walking towards the school, and I walked by some windows, and some kids was like, "Oh, that Mr. Love No Ego dude's back. Mr. Love No Ego's back." And then they just started calling Mr. Love No Ego. And so the corporate world, now I go into the corporate world and I speak about ego in the workplace and trying to get individuals and teams to show up authentically to maximize impact and success and progression and sales, whatever that might be. So check out MrLoveNoEgo.org and of course the foundation, LoveNoEgo.org.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again for being a guest, and thank you all for tuning in to the Live and Learn podcast. Hope that you're able to walk away with some insight and motivation for your journey. Be sure to visit the deepdiscussion.org website to learn more about our new Thrive Forward workshop program, where we go and teach people about how to transform adversity into obstacles. Also, be sure to visit my website to learn more about partnering with me, being a guest on the podcast, or visiting my website to have me speak at your organization about seeing adversity as an opportunity. Be sure to subscribe. And if you want to get in touch with me, I can be reached at thriveforward@deepdiscussion.org. That's again, thriveforward@deepdiscussion.org. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.